Hello, everyone. I'm Mary Gresham, Interim Dean of the College of Education and Human Development at the University of Maine. As I talk about inclusion and diversity, I want to share with you several points that I believe are important to help frame our thinking about this topic. Appreciating diversity to me means respecting differences, whether people, ethnicity, or cultures, even food. It's been said to me that Maine is the whitest state, as if that minimizes what can be done about diversity issues here. In my opinion, the very large variations in socioeconomic status in Maine describe many ways many types of diversity are prevalent here. The concomitant differences in culture, access, and opportunity that SES variations cause are just as important to recognize and address as our race or ethnicity. Both poverty and wealth can exacerbate or modify the impacts of race and ethnicity. So I ask that you also consider that type of diversity as you listen to the issues I'll raise today. I'm a psychotherapist by training, and I believe that individual behavior is influenced by our own beliefs, whether conscious or unconscious. One of my very favorite books is called Misread, The Heart of a Therapist. It's a collection of remarks contributed by the students of William Semrad, a gifted clinician and teacher and professor of psychiatry at the Harvard Medical School. My favorite quotation is this: and so often when you get to know a person, they lose their diagnosis. His point being that when attempting to interact with someone, do not rely on convenient labels to influence your responses, because once you get to know that individual, your responses may change. When there's inconsistency between what you believe and how you behave, the resulting discomfort or cognitive dissonance pressures us to minimize feelings of discomfort, to behave in ways that mirror, not contradict our beliefs. Oftentimes, we must either change our beliefs or change our behavior. To begin, however, we need to be in touch with what we really believe, in this case, about that which is different. I used to hang posters with this quotation on the bedroom walls of my own children when they were still in elementary school. Choose your socks by their color and your friends by their character. Choosing your socks by their character makes no sense. Martin Luther King Jr. said that. And my children and I had a lot of fun trying to understand what that meant. I was once chair of the Buffalo, New York chapter of the National Conference of Christians and Jews, and I accepted that position because I really, really liked the poster and logo that they had at that time. The saying was, "Nobody is born a bigot." To me, this contains an implicit challenge, a powerful reminder that our children's beliefs, whether as parents or teachers, are shaped by our own behaviors. In 1903, W.E.B. Du Bois prophetically questioned, and I quote, "how far differences of race will hereafter be made the basis of denying to over half the world the right of sharing to their utmost ability the opportunities and privileges of modern civilization." So think about this. Why are the phrases redlining and gerrymandering part of our political vocabulary? To what end? And what needs to be done about it? Anthropological research has shown that the idea of race is a social construct. In America, it was a social mechanism invented by English and other European settlers during the 18th century to justify the slavery of conquered Indian and African peoples to provide cheap labor. In fact, there's greater variation within racial groups than between them, which suggests that we all stem from a single species. We now understand that human cultural behavior is learned beginning at birth and is always subject to modification. How people have been accepted and treated within the context of a given society or culture has a direct impact on how they perform in that society. Stereotype threat, a term coined by Steele, Aronson, and Spencer, challenges assumptions that genetics or culture explain some differences in academic performance. Instead, they studied how negative stereotypes raise doubts and anxieties in a test taker's mind, resulting in stereotype threat. This social psychological predicament can apply to any group described with negative stereotypes. They found that even passing reminders that someone belongs to a group inferior in academics, say just offhand the remark is made, oh, girls don't perform well in math, and a young woman hears you, it can wreak havoc on her test performance and on her beliefs about herself. Do you know any of these test takers? I've known some. And subject matter tutoring was not the only way to help them improve. A new study found that prospective teachers, most of whom are white, are more likely to identify Black children than white children as angry, even when they are not. Both white candidates and candidates of color were equally likely to misidentify Black children as angry. Overall, Black boys were the most likely to be incorrectly assumed to be angry by future teachers. White girls were the least likely. Researchers said they would expect to see even higher levels of anger bias in the actual classroom when teachers have to make split-second judgments of a situation. What causes us to misread others? Speaking of misreading, to complicate things even further, there's been a dramatic increase in the birth rate of multiracial children in the US, from 500,000 in 1970 to 6.8 million in 2000. It's estimated that by the year 2050, 1 in 5 will identify as multiracial. Multiracial Americans are at the cutting edge of social and demographic change in America. In the US, they are proud, young, tolerant, and growing at a rate 3 times as fast as the population as a whole. A Pew Research Center survey found that majorities of multiracial adults are proud of their mixed race background, and about 1 in 4 felt annoyed because people have made assumptions about their racial background. Teachers are some of the most influential and most important individuals in any society. I believe that as educators, we have a responsibility to be honest and authentic about who we are. Young people are particularly adept at seeing insincerity, and if they do, we lose our ability to have an impact on them. I will end with another favorite quotation by James Baldwin, who said, and I quote, "Not everything that is faced can be changed, but nothing can be changed until it is faced." Thank you for all that you do, and thank you for allowing me to share with you today. Goodbye.